Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing marvelously well. I'm with Fluff, Ryan the Bruce. Fluff.
Hello. How you doing?
That's for a UK thing. I'm sure you know where the Bruce comes from. Do you?
No, I know where ours was changed.
Oh, it was?
It used to be BRUS because my great-grandmother fled Germany right after World War I.
Okay.
And we had to change it because over here was
So there isn't actually a Scottish connection then?
No, I'm Dutch and German.
I have Dutch in my family too, so it's, you know.
All right, cool.
My mum's mother was Dutch.
Oh, all right. There you go.
Yep. Well, and my mother's Irish, and I'm born in England, so I don't know. I'm a citizen of the world. I love it.
You're a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. This is interesting because, look, I love metal. I tend to probably like a period of like the new wave of British metal period, beyond the classics, obviously like Sabbath.
Sure.
First Sabbath record's one of my favorite records, Deep Purple, all the usual suspects. But my stomping ground as a little kid was growing up in the late 70s and early mid 80s. So that's kind of more, you can ask me about that period and I can rattle off the names of bands like crazy. But when it comes to modern metal, especially this insane kind of like right-hand rhythm techniques, I'm out. I watch your videos and everybody we know's videos, and I'm just like scratching my head like, what is this all about? So I thought, who better to ask than Mr. Ryan Fluff Bruce? And you can help educate me and, of course, other people watching that also aren't particularly up on the world of metal rhythm guitar players. So you've put together, 10 players?
I've put together my favorite 10 rhythm guitar players. A lot of them are modern, some of them are not, but I think there is a common thread between all of their influences as well, which we will get into. We'll do a reverse order. We'll start from 10, we'll work our way to 1, and for me, 10 through 3, you can kind of interchange and put them wherever, but I think 2 and 1 are the second and first choices in my opinion.
So let the arguing begin already. Before you've even heard Ryan's top 10, why don't you argue that it's wrong? No, it's okay. It's like, I did that one with Christian and he didn't include a 5150 as his favorite rock amps. And I proudly have one of Eddie's amps over there. He just doesn't particularly like them, but it was his list. So I know that somebody's going to be offended. So
Right. Okay, so number 10, he's known for lead playing. He's known for songwriting. Alice in Chains' Jerry Cantrell.
Wonderful.
I think is one of the most incredible rhythm players ever because his sense of timing and groove and the way he locks in with anyone he seems to play with, but especially Sean Kinney from Alice in Chains, is something you really can't buy that kind of thing. And that kind of rhythm chops only comes with just time, putting in the time and the effort. And he's a very revered guitarist, but I think his rhythm playing in particular had a profound effect on me as a kid. His solos are great, but the Them Bones, it goes from a 6/8 to a 4/4 in the verse, and then it just, what an incredible rhythm guitar player and guitar tone purist Jerry is.
Well, that's a good one to start me off, the guy that's not going to know quite a few of these players, I'm sure, because that's a great gateway drug for me, because when I hear Alice in Chains, and I too am a big fan, I hear Black Sabbath and Deep Purple. I hear, especially Sabbath, of course, with all Seattle grunge, I hear Sabbath like all over it.
Oh, yeah. So number 9 would be Adam Jones from Tool. His sense of the polyrhythmic stuff, I think he's unique. He wasn't the first to do the polyrhythmic stuff, because like a lot of prog bands, John Petrucci and Dream Theater and all those guys were doing way more complicated stuff way before them. However, when did you ever hear polyrhythms on the radio before? Well, I mean, I guess you had Rush, but it's a little different
Genesis.
thing.
Yeah, but I know what you mean.
And Genesis, it was a little bit of a different thing, but in my generation, yes. In the 90s, you had people tapping out polyrhythms to Tool songs at lunch in high school. And looking back, that's incredible. And you didn't even know what you were doing, but you just knew that those riffs grooved so hard. Adam Jones is a very celebrated guitarist as well. I think rightfully so. He's so understated, and it's what he doesn't play what makes him special.
All right, what are you going to hit us with the next one, number 8?
Maybe people wouldn't see this coming. Chris Cornell is one of my favorite rhythm guitar players, and here's why. Principal songwriter in Soundgarden, he tracked all of the rhythm guitars on Super Unknown. And that blew my mind because it's easy for us. I mean, growing up, I always thought it was Kim Thayil. But nope. Turns out Chris was more consistent and simply just better at laying down his own songs. And that totally makes sense. But some of those rhythms on those Soundgarden songs, even on Bad Motorfinger, any Soundgarden songs, some of those get pretty nutty. And Chris was doing that while singing, and he could pull it off live. He was so incredible. Tight, percussive, kind of dialed back, just real staccato. What an incredible rhythm guitar player.
Fantastic. Yeah, this is good. I'm keeping up with you. So what are you going to give me?
I think you're going to keep up more than you think. So,
I think, yes.
so number 7, Pantera's Dimebag Darrell is obviously a revered guitar player, one of the best people to ever play lead guitar that has ever walked the planet. No questions asked. He had a Guitar World column called Riffer Madness back in the 90s. That had a massive impact on me. I remember particularly there was an entire month devoted to his rhythm chops and breaking down specific Pantera songs. And at the very end, he says, it's just as hard to play slow as it is playing fast. So learn how to play slow first before you speed it up. And that blew my mind. That made so much sense. Very, very powerful. And I never got to see Pantera live. But all the live videos and all of just the evidence, oh my God, he was a sledgehammer. Especially now, here's a common theme that we'll see throughout this list. His brother is a drummer, and there's that family bond thing that you cannot buy and you cannot have with anybody else but your own blood, I feel like. So Dimebag Darrell, number 7, rhythm guitarist for me.
Nice. Still kind of entry level. I can hang with that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You haven't quite got me yet. All right. Number 6.
Okay. Number 6, I might get you with this one. Joe Duplantier and Christian Andrew from Gojira. You got me. He got me. I got Warren, everybody. Everyone take a drink. And this is another, Joe's brother, Mario, is the drummer for Gojira. And they had these crazy, almost tribal rhythms to their music. They just flip basic rhythm on its head. And so it's like Soundgarden, like, you're tapping along and you have to stop and then you catch it again. Like it's so just outside of the box, but it's so streamlined. They are one of the best live bands I've ever seen in my entire life. And they're so percussive. I don't know, there's a real strong tribal element to them. And they're just phenomenal. And he does it while singing as well.
Okay, so you started to get me. This is good. Number 5.
Number 5 for me, Edward Van Halen. Again, I think it's reinforced by the family, the blood connection. His brother is the drummer.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
It's just, there's something with that. And interestingly enough, Eddie started out playing drums.
Playing drums, yeah.
And they switched because Eddie wasn't that great at drums. Eddie is very, very famous for his lead chops and his innovation on the instrument. But I think what is often overlooked is his rhythm chops and his rhythm playing added so much swing to those songs that you just can't replicate that.
Plus, as a kid, when I first heard him play, it was all rhythm. All of his riffs were, everything had that kind of, like you say, a swing. It had a groove to it, which was just unbelievable.
Really unbelievable. I've never heard anything like that. So number 4, Frederick Thorndahl and Martin Hagstrom from Meshuggah. If anyone has seen Meshuggah live, it is like continually getting pummeled by a freight train. Your body is getting pummeled by just the insane rhythms. It's like you are getting bombed. Like there are mortar shells coming at you. And these guys really, really created what we now know as like that progressive, genty, rhythmically heavy style that all started with Meshuggah. They were doing that stuff in the 90s. They were the first bands to ever have an 8-string guitar, 9-string guitar. So ahead of their time. Huge influence on stuff from the Deftones, which did not make this list, however, honorable mention. But yeah, Meshuggah.
Fantastic. And I do know a little bit about that. I actually was just speaking to Per the other day.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah. What a wonderful guy.
Him. Wonderful guy. I think I just did a video with Keith Williams from a YouTube channel called 5 Watt World. And he's a Strandberg guy. And we were just talking about Per and what an incredible guitarist he is. Number 3, Tony Iommi. Black Sabbath. I mean, without Tony Iommi, you arguably wouldn't have anyone else prior on this list. Eddie Van Halen included, although, he was obviously a huge Sabbath fan, toured with Sabbath. I just think Tony Iommi really, really created something fresh and original back in 1968. Thank God he chopped off his tips of his fingers and had to detune. And that gave us modern heavy music as we know it today. And it all starts with him.
I like that. I like that. Well, so this is interesting. So I think you got me on like a couple of players. So not as many as I thought.
No.
But I love being educated. Okay, so we got a top 2.
We have a top 2, and I think these are in the correct order.
Okay.
For me.
Okay.
Number 2 is James Hetfield of Metallica. Growing up, when I had my guitar buddies, everyone wanted to learn Kirk Hammett stuff. And me being me, I was always more interested in the song and the groove, and I wanted to be James Hetfield. I didn't want to be Kirk Hammett. Master of Puppets, Harvester of Sorrow, those were just so heavy and percussive and just smacked you in the face. James Hetfield has the second best right hand in guitar playing, in my opinion.
Amazing. Are you hearing this, Eric? Oh, E-Rock is not hearing us. He just got number 2 on his top 10 rhythm guitar players of all time is?
James?
Yes, James Hetfield.
Yes.
Yeah, Eric's a huge fan. It's E-Rock's birthday today, everybody.
Happy birthday.
Yes, and depending on when this video comes out, it might be a week or 2, it's time. But just to give people some context, it's also Eddie Van Halen's birthday today.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. My number 1, personally, is Malcolm Young from AC/DC. There has been nobody who is as tight while having so much swing and rhythm and boogie to any riff than Malcolm Young. That guy was an absolute robot. I spent, right before we hopped on to do this, I've just been sitting and watching old live videos from the entire breadth of their career. Dude, Malcolm Young, he never screwed up once that I could find. I could find no evidence of him ever screwing up. It's incredible how much of an amazing rhythm player he is. And I know James would agree with that. I know all these guys on this list would absolutely agree with that. Oh my God, what an amazing player.
That's incredible. I'm so glad you picked him as number 1. And I agree. I feel like one of the things I talk about sometimes is the lack of specialists. I've been blessed when working with some legacy artists that you meet these guys like Eddie and Joe Perry and Jeff Beck and Ace Frehley, these guys that are like held up at such high regards. And they all are or were, in Eddie's case, unfortunately, guitar players. Like, who are you? I'm a guitar player. What do you do? I play guitar. What did you do this morning? I practiced some guitar and looked at some amps and some guitars. And then what did you do? Well, I fell asleep and then I woke up and plugged in my guitar. I mean, right. It's so for Malcolm, it's like, I don't know if I've ever heard or seen him play anything other than chords.
You're right.
So his whole life was focused on being a great rhythm guitar player.
Yeah, and you can hear, I can feel the cigarette smoke when he hits a riff, man. Like I can feel the Jack and Coke that he had before he went. I don't know how to describe it. There's so much flavor and sauce to his playing. I always really, really appreciated that about AC/DC. I
must go back to your Tony Iommi because for me, obviously, I've got my Laney amp over there, and Black Sabbath's first record is in my top 5 greatest albums. But I do remember Heaven and Hell with Ronnie James Dio and Neon Nights. My hairs are standing on end.
Neon Nights was really, really amazing. What was the other one? Mob Rules?
Yeah, Mob Rules, the album after. Well, it was Heaven and Hell. Yeah, Mob Rules was the album afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. That was those were great albums.
They're great albums. And I'm an Aussie fan, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that those are two of the best Black Sabbath records ever.
Yeah. I grew up. My dad used to play Paranoid continually all the time, and then he would follow it with Van Halen's first two records, and then he would just kind of flip flop back and forth between those.
Amazing. So, well, Mr. Bruce, thank you ever so much,
dude. Warren, thank you for having me, man.
Let's have a discussion down below. I'm sure everybody has very strong opinions. I think there's a couple in there which are hard to argue with. When it comes to be hard to argue Angus or Tony Iommi off of any list. You can, and Eddie. It'd be hard to really argue those off, but I'm sure some people will.
Yeah. Everyone lists their top 3 rhythm guitarists.
That'd be good. Top 3 rhythm guitar players.
Yeah. Give me your top 3. Let's hang out and comment on them. I will.
Yeah, I will too. I'll be very interested. Thank you ever so much. That was marvelous.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a marvelous time. See you all soon. Please list your top 3 rock, heavy metal, rhythm guitar players down below. Thank you ever so much. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, adios. Bye.
Au revoir.